Wordless 27. Lucid. Easily understood, clear, intelligible. Ellen makes an excellent teacher. Her explanations of technical points are lucid enough for a child to grasp. Lucrative. Profitable. He turned his hobby into a lucrative profession. Ludicrous. Laughable, trifling. Let us be serious, this is not a ludicrous issue. Lugubrious. Mournful. The jubilant lugubrious howling of the dogs added to our sadness. Lull. Moment of calm. Not wanting to get wet, they waited under the awning for a lull in the rain. Lull. Soothe, cause one to relax one's guard, subside. The mother's gentle song lulled the child to sleep. Malcolm tried to come up with a plausible story to lull his mother's suspicions, but she didn't believe a word he said. Lumber. Move heavily or clumsily. Still somewhat torpid after its long hibernation, the bear lumbered through the woods. Luminary. Celebrity, dignitary. A leading light of the American stage, Ethel Barrymore was a theatrical luminary whose name lives on. Luminous. Shining, issuing light. The sun is a luminous body. Lummox. Big, clumsy, often stupid person. Because he was highly overweight and looked ungainly, John Candy often was cast as a slow-witted lummox. Lunar. Pertaining to the moon. Lunar craters can plainly be seen with the aid of a small telescope. Lunge. Quick forward dive or reach, thrust. The wide receiver lunged forward to grab the football. With his sword, D'Artagnan lunged at his adversary. Lurid. Wild, sensational, graphic, gruesome. Do the lurid cover stories in the Inquirer actually attract people to buy that trashy tabloid? Lurk. Stealthily lie in waiting, slink, exist unperceived. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows. Luscious. Pleasing to taste or smell. The ripe peach was luscious. Luster. Shine, gloss. The soft luster of the silk in the dim light was pleasing. Lustrous. Shining. Her large and lustrous eyes lent a touch of beauty to an otherwise plain face. Luxuriant. Abundant, rich and splendid, fertile. Lady Godiva was completely covered by her luxuriant hair. Machinations. Evil schemes or plots. Fortunately, Batman saw through the wily machinations of the Riddler and saved Gotham City from destruction by the forces of evil. Madrigal. Pastoral song. His program of folk songs included several madrigals which he sang to the accompaniment of a lute. Maelstrom. Whirlpool. The canoe was tossed about in the maelstrom. Magnanimous. Generous, great-hearted. Philanthropists by definition are magnanimous, misers, by definition, are not. Cordelia was too magnanimous to resent her father's unkindness to her, instead, she generously forgave him. Magnate. Person of prominence or influence. Growing up in Pittsburgh, Annie Dillard was surrounded by the mansions of the great steel and coal magnates who set their mark on that city. Magnitude. Greatness, extent. It is difficult to comprehend the magnitude of his crime. Maim. Mutilate, injure. The hospital could not take care of all who had been wounded or maimed in the railroad accident. Maladroit. Clumsy, bungling. How maladroit it was of me to mention seeing you out partying last night. From the look on his face, I take it that your boyfriend thought you were otherwise occupied. Malady. Illness. A mysterious malady swept the country, filling doctors' offices with feverish, purple-spotted patients. Malaise. Uneasiness, vague feeling of ill health. Feeling slightly queasy before going on stage, Carol realized that this touch of malaise was merely stage fright. Malapropism. Comic misuse of a word. When Mrs. Malaprop accuses Lydia of being as headstrong as an allegory on the banks of the Nile, she confuses allegory and alligator in a typical malapropism. Malcontent. Person dissatisfied with existing state of affairs. One of the few malcontents in Congress, he constantly voiced his objections to the presidential program. Malediction. Curse. When the magic mirror revealed that Snow White was still alive, the wicked queen cried out in rage and uttered dreadful maledictions. Malefactor. Evildoer, criminal. Mighty Mouse will save the day, hunting down malefactors and rescuing innocent mice from peril. Malevolent. Wishing evil. Largo is a malevolent villain who takes pleasure in ruining Othello. Malfeasance. Wrongdoing. The authorities did not discover the campaign manager's malfeasance until after he had spent most of the money he had embezzled. Malicious. Hateful, spiteful. Jealous of Cinderella's beauty, her malicious stepsisters expressed their spite by forcing her to do menial tasks. Malign. Speak evil of, badmouth, defame. Putting her hands over her ears, Rose refused to listen to Betty malign her friend Susan. Malignant. Injurious, tending to cause death, aggressively malevolent. Though many tumors are benign, some are malignant, growing out of control and endangering the life of the patient. Malingerer. One who feigns illness to escape duty. The captain ordered the sergeant to punish all malingerers and force them to work. Malleable. Capable of being shaped by pounding, impressionable. Gold is a malleable metal, easily shaped into bracelets and rings. Fagin hoped Oliver was a malleable lad, easily shaped into a thief. Malodorous. Foul-smelling. The compost heap is most malodorous in summer. Mammal. A vertebrate animal whose female suckles its young. Many people regard the whale as a fish and do not realize that it is a mammal. Mammoth. Gigantic, enormous. To try to memorize every word on this vocabulary list would be a mammoth undertaking. Take on projects that are more manageable in size. Mandate. Order, charge. In his inaugural address, the president stated that he had a mandate from the people to seek an end to social evils such as poverty. Mandatory. Obligatory. These instructions are mandatory. Any violation will be severely punished. Maniacal. Raging mad, insane. Though Mr. Rochester had locked his mad wife in the attic, he could still hear her maniacal laughter echoing throughout the house. Manifest. Evident, visible, obvious. Digby's embarrassment when he met Madonna was manifest. His ears turned bright pink, he kept scuffing one shoe in the dirt, and he couldn't look her in the eye. Manifesto. Declaration, statement of policy. The Communist Manifesto by Marx and Engels proclaimed the principles of modern communism. Manipulate. Operate with one's hands, control or play upon people, forces, etc., artfully. Jim Henson understood how to manipulate the Muppets. Madonna understands how to manipulate men, and publicity. Mannered. Affected, not natural. Attempting to copy the style of his wealthy neighbors, Gatsby adopted a mannered, artificial way of speech. Marital. Pertaining to marriage. After the publication of his book on marital affairs, he was often consulted by married people on the verge of divorce. Maritime. Bordering on the sea, nautical. The maritime provinces depend on the sea for their wealth. Marked. Noticeable or pronounced, targeted for vengeance. He walked with a marked limp, a souvenir of an old IRA attack. As British ambassador, he knew he was a marked man, for he knew the Irish Republican Army wanted him dead. Marquee. Canopy above an entrance, under which one can take shelter, roof-like shelter above a theater entrance. On stormy days, the hotel doorman keeps dry by standing directly beneath the marquee. The title of Arthur Coppett's play "Oh Dad, Poor Dad, Mama's Hung You in the Closet and I'm Feeling So Sad" was too long to fit on the marquee. Marred. Damaged, disfigured. She had to refinish the marred surface of the table. Marshal. Put in order. At a debate tournament, extemporaneous speakers have only a minute or two to marshal their thoughts before they address their audience. Marsupial. One of a family of mammals that nurse their offspring in a pouch. The most common marsupial in North America is the opossum. Martial. Warlike. The sound of martial music inspired the young cadet with dreams of military glory. Martinet. Strict disciplinarian. No talking at meals. No mingling with the servants. Miss Minchin was a martinet who insisted that the schoolgirls in her charge observe each regulation to the letter. Martyr. One who voluntarily suffers death for his or her religion or cause, great sufferer. By burning her at the stake, the English made Joan of Arc a martyr for her faith. Mother played the martyr by staying home cleaning the house while the rest of the family went off to the beach. Masochist. Person who enjoys his own pain. The masochist begs, "Hit me." The sadist smiles and says, "I won't." Material. Made of physical matter, unspiritual, important. Probing the mysteries of this material world has always fascinated physicist George Whitesides. Reporters nicknamed Madonna the Material Girl because, despite her name, she seemed wholly uninterested in spiritual values. Lexi's active participation made a material difference to the success of the fundraiser. Materialism. Preoccupation with physical comforts and things. By its nature, materialism is opposed to idealism, for where the materialist emphasizes the needs of the body, the idealist emphasizes the needs of the soul. Maternal. Motherly. Many animals display maternal instincts only while their offspring are young and helpless. Matriarch. Woman who rules a family or larger social group. The matriarch ruled her gypsy tribe with a firm hand. Matriculate. Enroll, in college or graduate school. Incoming students formally matriculate at our college in a special ceremony during which they sign the official register of students. Maudlin. Effusively sentimental. Whenever a particularly maudlin tearjerker was playing at the movies, Marvin would embarrass himself by weeping copiously. Maul. Handle roughly. The rock star was mauled by his overexcited fans.